Ash Ketchum is a fraud. From the 8 Kanto badges, our favorite prodigy only earned 3 of those from actually defeating the gym leaders in battle. The others are practically gifted to him, which proves he's a hoax. No wonder he couldn't beat the league, the guy was severely underqualified. But that prompted me with a question: could Ash Ketchum's phony team really conquer the Kanto region if he did it by the books? So I took it upon myself to answer that, not by defeating the easy version in the Nintendo games, but by going out the one in the Cobbleverse, where leaders have more Pokemon to battle, carefully cherry-picked from all the generations to make up an actual challenge. This should be fun. I woke up in the picturesque Pallet Town and made my way up to the professor's lab. As the old man instructed me, I chose Pikachu as my starter and made out for Pewter City. Whilst passing through Viridian Forest, I caught Caterpie and Pidgeotto. You know, the bird you usually find on these early routes. By the time I made it to Brock's gym, my Caterpie evolved all the way up to splendid Butterfree. And such, the first problem in Ash's journey had put a massive obstacle in my path. I'm supposed to battle Brock, the Rock-type gym leader, who has this Pokemon to its arsenal, with this Breakfast Club looking bunch. Aside from the fact that this guy has an extra Pokemon to play with, 2 of mine are weak to his moves, whilst the Butterfly could actually get murdered. Strategy upon strategy was tried over the following hour, and with my underdeveloped Pokemon battle mind and little experience in these underdog situations, I came to a conclusion. I had to use some extra help, but not much. Okay, so I arrived at 2 options: be allowed to carry health items or use healing items on this journey. I went to the latter, given the mod makes them more challenging to use, limiting the amount you could pop in battle so you can just hit 10 revives and slowly take down your opponent. It seemed like a fair decision to me. After a couple more unlucky tries, I had a perfect run. The Butterfree sleeping powder worked impeccably, and I defeated Brock without taking damage once. I could not believe it. Give me that badge. It was now time to head over to Cerulean City for my fight against Misty. Let's see how many Pokemon Ash caught by that time. None! This guy caught 0 Pokemon between the 2 gyms. I'm going crazy. Fortunately, water was not that bad of a time matchup against my team, and I got it over the line on my second try. That sleeping powder sure comes in handy. I hope this Butterfree can carry me to victory on this run, and nothing bad happens to it. Between this gym and Lieutenant Surge, Ash caught all the Kanto starters, though only one will end up evolving in the end. Also Krabby, I almost forgot to mention, but that little one will come in handy a bit more into the future. A couple of tries of getting my ass kicked ended up in a 1v1 against the man's Boltund. It was my MVP Butterfree that brought it home. I put the dog to sleep and spammed Bug Buzz. It worked! I had now obtained a 3rd gym badge after a gruesome battle full of twists and full restores. Yes, if you didn't know, this mod allows every gym leader to use full restores. Crazy, right? Now it was time for Ash's and my paths to diverge a little, as the young man followed a different order to defeat the next 3 gym leaders. He first went to Sabrina, then to Erika, and lastly to Koga. Well, the mod lets me progress to the natural sequence of the games. First Erika, then Koga, and only last Sabrina. Just wanted to get that out of the way. But now, as I made my way to Celadon City for the battle against Erika, the grass-type gym leader, I had to say goodbye to my favorite little guy, Butterfree. I had to release it, as Ash did, but at least I had a new member to my team. Wait, what? No new member? Ash just released Butterfree, and I did nothing. This fraud is destroying me. Well, at least my Charmander knows Flamethrower. Pidgeotto first took out the Rose Raid, barely scraping by. Then, as it went out, it did some significant damage to Vileplume, just enough for Charmander to come in, burn the plant alive, and leave the foe's victory bell at 2% health. Thank God, the gym leader AI was dumb and didn't restore his health. Pikachu came out and finished it off. I was now put in a 4v1 situation. Erika's Blossom fainted, my little yellow mouse, but I took the time to paralyze it. Bulbasaur came on the field and brought victory to our side. I now had half of the gym badges and my mind was still somewhat sane. On to the next challenge. Along the way, Ash caught a mighty Primeape. Finally, some actual strength to the team. It was time to pass through Koga's invisible labyrinth, quickly done, and so I was faced with the gym leader. After roughly 20 minutes of tries, I had a good run. Pikachu took out Weezing with some ease, and thanks to his static ability, it was also able to take out Drapion whilst barely scraping by. The rest of the battle was a bit of back and forth. He took out one of mine, and I took out one of his, until I was put in a 3v1 situation where Pidgeotto demolished the foe's Crobat, earning me the 5th gym badge. I loved Primeape, even though I only used it for one fight, so the next logical situation was Ash leaving it behind. 2 for 2. Nice going, Ash. He at least repaid me by catching a mock. Next up was Sabrina's gym in Saffron City. Teleporter puzzle was actually really easy. I just went to the top right of every room, and I was faced with Sabrina in no time. The heals were very helpful in this battle, as I managed to overcome it on my second try. Pidgeotto, once again, was the last one standing, and narrowly managed to defeat Sabrina's Mr. Mime. 9 HP. Holy. The 6th badge was mine. By now, Ash's rookie team started growing up. The Charmander evolving into a Charmeleon, and then a mighty Charizard by the time he took the young prodigy to arrive at Blaine's gym. He also ran into and caught 30 Tauros in the Safari Zone in that banned episode. You know which one. Well, I've got nothing better to do, so... 30 Tauros have been caught, and of course the strongest one goes straight into my party. The best part was I could finally fly instead of walking from location to location. Look at this mighty beast as it took me to Blaine's volcano on Cinnabar Island. I took the elevator and arrived in this lava room, face to face with the bold Quizmaster. Oh my god, it's incredible actually having evolved Pokemon to fight with. It's like having a proper meal after being fed only McDonald's for a week. Exquisite. I won the battle on my first try, Mach and Tauros absolutely carrying the team. The 7th badge was acquired, only one more to go. I was so excited I might have accidentally pushed Blaine into the lava. No one will know though, as I quickly fled the scene of the crime. Big Man Giovanni was the last obstacle between me and the league. His gym in Viridian City proved to be full of surprises as the man presented me with a double battle. Not only that, he had a Mewtwo. As you might imagine, it took me a fair share of attempts until I got it right. But here is the strategy that won. I will start with Mach and Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto would barely survive the Tyranitar's Ice Fang and use Tailwind so that my side would be faster. With that, the slow Mach would move first and deliver ground type moves to do what damage it could until Tyranitar was down. During this time, Pidgeotto would use Sand Attack on Rhyperior as Giovanni focused on Mach. Rhyperior would be left for later as Squirtle could one-shot it. After the big stone being, Mewtwo came out and both my Pokemon fainted. Nice. Thankfully, the Rhyperior was dumb. I made the right decision by leaving it on field. It used Earthquake, helping me out by damaging Mewtwo and ultimately taking it out with the help of my Tauros. Squirtle also got taken out in the process, so I sent out Pikachu to his death as he could do nothing against this ground-type beast, and use his turn to revive Squirtle. Second chance, buddy, come on. Whilst that happened, in the background Tauros took out Nidoqueen. Then Persian came out on the field, but my Squirtle and Tauros took it and Rhyperior out in the same turn. Ultimately, I was faced with a Nidoking. With a Hydro Pump, it was all over, and I had acquired the last gym badge in this exhausting Kanto journey. All that remained was the Pokemon League. A short stop at my childhood home granted me Mimey. I then flew over to the Indigo Plateau, and my Krabby also evolved into Kingler. This would be the team I take into battle. I think I can work with this. Some okay type coverage and moves. Let's see what it's all about with the first member of the Elite Four, the Ice-type master, Lorelei. Obviously, I started off with Charizard, who made quick work of her Glastrier, but fell short against Lapras. Thankfully, a Hammer-on from Kingler put the Secret to bed. Next was Mamoswine. This goat of a Kingler lived on 1 HP and one-shot the Mamoswine with a Crab Hammer. Unbelievable. We are witnessing a generational performance. Jinx then took it out, obviously, and then the battle spiraled a bit out of my control, losing my man Tauros in silly ways, but Mach and then Pikachu finished the battle victoriously. The next one was against Bruno, the Fighting Type Master, which I thought would be the easiest, but it ended up closer than I would have preferred and expected, to be quite honest. Charizard and Mimey took down like half the team, the rest swept up another 2 Pokemon, but the Hitmonlee proved to be a bit of a nuisance, so I revived the Big Fire Lizard as a precautionary measure. Thanks to that, the battle had been won. Next up was Agatha, the Ghost-type Master. Every time I play Fire Red, she's the easiest one to defeat. But here, oh no, the first 2 members, those suckers, I beat my first try, but this old lady took me a bit to figure her out. I sent out Mimey to set up Reflect, then Tauros took out the Bennett. Barely, cause Agatha healed and my big guy got poisoned. Then Kingler took out Fluttermane with the one-shot. I love this guy. Following that, I had some bad luck and remained in a 3v3 position. Charizard took out Dusknoir and Gengar, while Style is going out itself due to the recoil from Flare Blitz. Pikachu fainted. Mach barely could do anything, so I had to bring the Lizard back. Actually, no other choice. Charizard swept the remaining Pokemon up and such delivered me another win. I was so excited once again that I accidentally pushed Agatha into the lava. The last member of the Elite Four was left, Lance, the Dragon-type Master. Probably the hardest trainer you'd have to fight in this whole mod. His team has 2 Pokemon, Shiny Gyarados and Salamence, to be more precise, with Moxie, the ability which raises your attack when fainting another Pokemon. It took me so long to come up with a winning plan, but after almost an hour of defeat upon defeat, I finally did it. The first Pokemon was the goat Kingler. It one-shot Aerodactyl with Crab Hammer. Then Salamence took it out, unfortunately, but then came Tauros with Swagger. The big lizard hit itself, and with a double edge, it got knocked out. Then Tyrantrum came out and got the same Swagger treatment. It managed to knock out my dear Tauros, but its health was already down a half by that time. Tyrantrum hit itself, and with the help of Mach, it got put to rest. Not like the rest status condition, I meant fainted. Gyarados then came out, and I poisoned it. It continued to gradually take my Pokemon out, but that poison eventually got the best of it. During its last turn, I revived the goat Tauros. I was in a 2v2 situation. Lance set out Dragonite, who got confused by my dear Bull. It then took itself out as I switched to Pikachu. 2v1, come on. The last Pokemon was Excalibur. Pikachu got in an Iron Tail, but fell short in front of the beast's Earthquake. Tauros came in and with 2 double-edge attacks brought home the victory. Oh my god, that was exhausting. But no time to rest. The champion of the league, the final battle, awaited me on the playing field. I made my way out of the tunnel and there he was, Blue. My shot at proving that you can beat the game with Ash's phony, pathetic and amateur team. The battle will be legendary. Before starting it off, I remember that in the games, he always used Pidgeot as the first Pokemon. That's how I caught him each time. So by that logic, a bird should be first. Zapdos. Well, legendary bird is still a bird. Switches after switches, heals on either side. Blue and I were in a mental standoff. Tauros, Kingler, Pikachu and Mimey all basically traded themselves with legendary birds and Mew. They all took turns knocking each other out, until Blue and I were in a 2v2 situation. The problem was, my Charizard had been weakened. The two starters, in their final form, battling against each other. I had the upper hand, but the health was not there. As such, I went with Flare Blitz, hoping the damage would be enough to take it out, and it did. Venusaur burned to death as my Grandiose Lizard went out from the recoil. The last matchup, my Mach against Ditto. The problem was, my only move that could actually deal proper damage against Mach was not 100% accurate, and it could also bring down the foe's accuracy. As the moon rose up and shined upon the stadium, the two Pokemon were throwing mud bombs at each other. Mine missed some, his missed some, the accuracy was also rolled in both cases, but in the end, one of the Pokemon got taken out. My Mach barely remained alive and clutched it up for me. I was now the Kanto champion. I took this group of misfits that Ash collected and showed them what real silverware was, as I placed the trophy in my badge case. I hopped on my faithful Charizard with Pikachu on my shoulder and flew off back home to shower in the compliments of an accomplished journey. This challenge was pretty difficult, I kid you not. I also wanted to shout out the people behind this incredible map. The link to it is in the description below. It doesn't have only Kanto, there are multiple regions and they're still working on the others. It's amazing, you should definitely check it out for yourselves. If you've enjoyed this video and maybe you want to see me do more like this, then let me know in the comments below. And subscribe and like would also be appreciated. Until next time, have a great day guys, stay safe, bye.